Hello, welcome back to Chrissy Cooking at Home. Special treat today. I am going to show you how I make cheeseburger stuffed buns. Really good. I'm using my home canned ground beef, but that's a first. I've always cooked it fresh before, but since I'm new to canning, I want to see how my home canned ground beef turns out in this recipe that I've made for the last 15 or so years. So let's get her started. Off camera. Maybe I can turn you a little bit. You can see my beautiful beast of a mixer. I got my ingredients. I don't know if you saw the flour there. But we have my trusty cookbook that I am creating from my recipe cards. And I printed up my cheeseburger stuffed buns already. So just had to find it in my big old binder. So in here, I have 3/4 cup whole milk and 1/2 cup of water. And I warmed it in the microwave just a little bit. We don't want it too hot or you'll kill your yeast. So in the mixing bowl it goes. Next, sugar. 1/4 cup. Sprinkle that around. Next, 1 tablespoon yeast. I think I've shown you before. I refilled my jar. Notice my last jar was getting low. Refilled it. Because I found it at a local store. I usually buy it from Amazon. It's half the price at this local store, this restaurant supply store. Well, it's advertised as restaurant and party supply. Anyways. So next comes 1/4 cup of Crisco. I'm not afraid to get my hands dirty, so my fingers don't bother me because they're clean, but you can always just use a spoon or a rubber scraper, whatever. I'm not in the mood to do too many dishes today. I'm tired. So next comes 2 room temperature eggs. Don't want it too cold. Move Crisco, yeast. I actually have my milk. Put my milk away. Okay, so next we're going to add our salt. Off the top of my head, I think 1 teaspoon. Yes, 1 teaspoon salt. I have my dough hook attachment. Just kind of sprinkle that in. I'm going to do this all with the dough hook. Like I said, not in the mood to do dishes. You can start this off with the paddle if you want. I'm not in the mood. But I've been wanting to make these burger buns since I started canning the ground beef last month. Okay, so scoop, level. We're going to start with 4 cups of flour. Scoop, level 2. Scoop, level 3. And then message interrupt this. Here we go again. That was 3. So now we're on to the 4th cup. We're going to start with 4. Depending on where you're at, the humidity, the temperature, the time of year, and like I always say, the moon rising will determine how much flour you actually need altogether. I have 4 to 5 written in my recipe, but I have gone up to 8 before, so just so you're aware. I'm going to do it a little bit fast in the beginning. Just kind of help chop up that Crisco and mix the eggs up a little bit. But not for very long. Do not want to tax my motor. I'm just going to kind of scrape the edges and push the loose flour into the wet center. It's starting to come together, and I will bring you over to show you. Okay? It's starting to come together. So we're just gonna I'm gonna give it one more push / scrape. I think my 4 cups, because it's not very humid today, is going to be fine. Alright, so you see that coming together really nicely. There we go. So I am done with the flour because I'm going to let it knead in the bowl. I am not going to be doing this by hand. I don't do it by hand anymore. But I'm not putting the flour too far away from me because it looks like it might need a little more. I want it to completely pull away from the bowl and not be sticking to it at all. And I don't want it to climb the hook either. In here about a half a cup. I filled it about halfway, so about half a cup. Sprinkle a little bit of it. Not all of it, you can see there's still some in there. Kind of. Comfortable doing that, don't do that. Just let it go nice and slow so you don't catch your motor. A little more. I'm going to put the rest of it in there. So I just added another half a cup to my original 4. I'm going to give it a good scrape. Push that flour, that loose flour into our dough here. Kind of like gives it a little bit of a head start. Starting to look at it. So, you don't want to stick into the bottom. Once the flour has come together and I see the dough how I need it to be, I will show you what it's supposed to look like. We're getting there. Alright. So, here I have 2 pounds or 2 pint jars of ground beef. I have some ketchup, some mustard, some mayonnaise, like that. And then you can use any cheese you want. But today I have an abundance of Swiss. I'm using Swiss. Typically I use American or cheddar. So we're going to see how this turns out with Swiss. But we love Swiss in this house. Okay, it's starting to look how I want it. It's not sticking to the bowl. It's not climbing that hook. So, we're going to let this knead. 8 minutes. So, usually I just stand here and watch it for the 8 minutes. Make sure it keeps where it's supposed to be. Then, what we're going to do is we're going to turn it out into a bowl, but I have put a little bit, I don't know if you can see it, a little bit of vegetable oil in it. I'm going to turn it to go. Put a towel on it, put it in my oven on the proof function, and let it double in size. For me, it's going to take 30 minutes, roughly. If you don't have a proof function, no biggie, leave it on the counter, draft-free place, took the swab off, covered with a towel, and it might take an hour, hour and a half. You want it double. Didn't touch this. Okay, it's fine. Now, you can measure. I don't typically measure. Other than my ground beef. And usually I cook the ground beef with some onion. This is not oil. We're in try it with some of my home dried onions. So, usually I do one whole yellow onion with 2 pounds of ground beef. Drain really well, then put in a bowl. Or you can do this back in the skillet if you don't want to dirty a bowl. I'm dirtying a bowl because these come out of my... Grabbing 2 handfuls to do. They came out of my pint jars. Salt to taste. I did not put any salt in with my meat when I canned it. Pepper. To taste. Got to grab. Where is it? There it is. It's behind the door. Worcestershire. It's gonna do a little squirt. I don't want this to wet. So basically it's things that I like to put on my burgers when I'm cooking them or when I'm about to eat it. So some pickle juice. I have some kosher dill sandwich slices. I do use dill relish on occasion, not the sweet. I don't like sweet pickles on my burgers. I like the dill pickles on my burgers. So I will use dill relish or sometimes take pickles, whole, slices, wedges, whatever, and chop them up really small. Not in the mood for just going to be pickle juice. Now, we're going to be tasting this as we go. So start off small. We like a lot of mustard in this house. Not too much ketchup for us. Ketchup is sweet. I think kind of 2 big squirts there. And then to hold it all together, mayonnaise is our friend. But not much mayonnaise. So what would you say? About quarter cup or so. 2 pounds of ground beef. Definitely not adding any more mayonnaise. If I add any more condiments, it'll be ketchup or mustard. Okay, it's coming in 5 minutes. So, I'm just going to stir this together. And then I'm going to taste. Because I want this to taste like a cheeseburger that I have made or I have ordered out. I want it to taste how I like my cheeseburgers. Minus lettuce and tomato, because that gets really funky when you bake it. I learned not to do whole pickle slices early on in this, because when you bite into one of these hot and pull out that pickle, you burn the crap out of yourself. You see, it's kind of holding itself together. It's not the prettiest thing. It's not meant to be pretty. It's meant to taste good. That's how we like it. If you like more ketchup than mustard on your burgers, do more ketchup. If you like more mayonnaise, go for it. Do more mayonnaise. Mayonnaise baked just fine. Because this is going to be inside our raw dough with the cheese slices. And it's going to bake up into these beautiful little like sandwich pocket things. And then I also feel like I need more salt. Now you can salt your meat when you're cooking it. You can salt the meat after when you're doing this. Perfect. Cheese. No matter what cheese slices you're using, use shredded bacon if you want. Yeah. we'll use this. I have some shredded American, white American, and I was like, maybe, but no, we have more Swiss than that, so. I'm gonna tear these in half, or you can use scissors, just so they're gonna fit nicely on your little balls you're gonna roll out. So each burger bun, you're gonna get a half a slice of cheese. So you're gonna take that half, tear it in half, so that way it fits. So we're making 18 burger buns. So you need 9 slices of cheese total. I found much more than that, and the cheese is just way too much. Okay. I'm not going to bore you with my cheese folding. The dough is done. Let's get it off our hook. Move our cheese. In our bowl with a little bit, and I do mean a little bit. Come here. Now that it's off the hook, it wants to stick to the bowl. Okay. So it's not sticking to me. That's the important part. It's not the stiffest dough. It's not the softest dough. I would consider it somewhere in the middle. So I'm just making it into a ball so I can grab it by the bottom here. Now, when you do dig your fingers in like that, it does feel a little sticky, but it's really not. Okay, so you really don't need much, about a tablespoon, maybe 2 tablespoons at most of oil. Clean towel. I had this tucked in my apron if you didn't see it. Going in the oven. I'll bring you back for when it's time to make our little balls of dough and then put our filling in. So, excited? I'm excited. Well, our dough has risen. I have pulled it out of my oven, which is on the proof function. I know it doesn't look bulbous because it was a very large bowl, but if you rewind a little bit and see how much dough went in and see that it is to the top. It is doubled, if not more than doubled. Best part. Okay. We're going to save this towel that we just took off and use it to put over our prepared burger buns. So I'm going to kind of just squish this around into a bowl. Okay. I do that to get rid of excess bubbles as much as possible. I'm not really kneading it. I'm just kind of squishing it together. Just basically squishing out I have my scale. A little digital scale. Okay. We're doing about 2 1/4 ounces per okay. Now, since I did that in chunks, I'm going to get them all weighed out, and as I weigh each one, I'm going to turn it into a ball-ish. Because then we're going to kind of roll them out into circles. Okay. Squish that in there. So it doesn't have to be perfect because we're going to be kind of pinching these up into little pockets of yumminess. Don't worry, I'm going to try and put this on fast forward. Okay, hopefully I can get this copy and pasted well, but at 2 1/4 ounce each, I came up one short. To get it to look nice on the pan, to fit nice on the pan, and to use up all that filling, really need 18. Because it's 3 by 6. Alright, I'm not fussing with that. I'm getting tired, getting nauseous. Oops. I just took all my neurological meds. If you saw my intro video, you know that I have a progressive neurological disorder. So sometimes the meds can be a little harsh on my belly. Alright, so I have the flour here just in case this got a little sticky. I have my big heavy rolling pin. No, we're just rolling it out about a 1/4 inch thick. Focusing on getting the ends, or not the ends, the edges, a little thinner than the center. I forgot my scoop. I use a large cake batter, muffin batter type scoop, and a large cookie scoop, but I use it for cupcakes and muffins. And just, it seems to be the perfect measurement. Now you're going to want to bring this up like you would a dumpling or something. If you've ever made a Chinese dumpling or anything like that. I don't think I made the thing big enough. I'm off to a great start. Because, as you can see, I'm struggling here. I know better. You can't get this filling on the edges and get it to successfully seal. When was the last time I made these? Oh, about a year ago. And you know what else? I forgot the cheese. So, this is just a damp cloth. We're going to use paper towel. We're going to try and salvage this because I am not one for wasting. If you make this mistake and you want to just toss it, by all means. I am not food police. I'm going to try and salvage this. See, mistakes happen to even the most experienced cooks, chefs, homemakers. Nobody is perfect 100% of the time. Now, if I can just get this to seal, we will be lucky. Because the cheese is not supposed to be up top here. Not supposed to. Come on. Come on. You know you want to. You know you want to seal. This one's going to make a mess. This one's going to explode all over the others. Okay. That one is not pretty. Now, I have made these pretty in the past, where I after I brushed them with an egg wash, I would sprinkle some sesame seeds, either toasted or plain, didn't matter. Try again, take 2. I'm getting tired already. Like I said, I want the edges a little thinner than the center. The reason is because building it up, it's going to make it a little thicker than the center. Now, 2 of my little squares of cheese. I don't like how this is going. Don't get frustrated. And look at that. Rough go on the first one. Making sure all my edges are crimped. So far I've not needed to use the flour. That's what it looks like up close. You can see it has sealed. We're going to put it next to our not so pretty one. That's probably going to explode in the oven and make the others a catastrophe. Maybe. Most likely. We'll see. Okay. I don't know how big of a circle this is. I've never measured the circumference. I just try to go a little further out with the edges. My cheese in the center. 1 level scoop of my meat mixture, whatever you've put in your meat. You don't want it, too thin and too watery, so not too much pickle juice, or if you use pickle relish, then make sure it's drained really well. Okay. Pinch, 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 pinch. I'm going to keep going with this, and I will bring you back when I have done all 18. Okie dokie. Okay, I have rolled them all out. Made a few more mistakes. Used up almost all my meat. This is the first time using home canned beef. So instead of using every little scrub from the bowl, I have just maybe a tablespoon left over. So if I had a dog, I'd give it to him. But in the garbage it goes because all are filled. This one I did not seal very well, and when I went to move it to adjust it, the bottom bursted open. So this is my boo-boo one. We'll see how it goes. I did not cut enough cheese, so these two rows have Swiss. This row has some shredded American cheese, this whole row. So I'll probably make Logan happy. He likes Swiss, but not as much as it gives him choices. And with Logan, it's best to have choices with his autism. So that way, everybody can be happy. So I'm going to put the towel on this, and then I'm going to stick it back in my oven on the proof function until they get 1.5 times bigger. Not quite double. I'm trying to read my parchment. Yeah, I laid parchment paper down. I don't know if you saw that or not. Parchment paper. This is about a 1/4 sheet. Baking sheets, not my half sheet. 20 minutes. We're going to cover it for 20 minutes. I'll bring you back. Hello, lovelies. Here we are. They have had 30 minutes to rise. Pulled them out of my oven. Oven smells like it's cooking something already. And turned on my oven to 400. My oven has the option to do a convection bake or conventional bake. And I do these on convection, but I've only had this oven for 2 years. Before that it was conventional, just your regular standard cheap stove. So it turns out great either way, just a little faster, little darker with the convection setting, which is what I am going to do. What I did is I went ahead and beat lightly 1 large egg with 2 tablespoons of water. Ta-da! You see? Are they the prettiest things? No. I wasn't trying too hard to make them pretty, but you can make them so pretty and perfect and absolutely gorgeous. I did try to see if I had any sesame seeds left, but I used them the last time I made a Chinese inspired dish. So I am all out of sesame seeds, which is fine. They get stuck in your teeth and can be hard to get out. It's annoying, but it just makes it look so pretty. What I do is if I have sesame seeds, after I do an egg wash on this, I sprinkle gently some sesame seeds. You could also do, if you wanted to, you could do the everything but the bagel seasoning. That might be yummy. Or maybe just some poppy seeds for color. Or maybe just some little bit of dried onion that you crushed lightly with a mortar and pestle. I mean, don't let my limitations limit your imagination and what you would like to try on this. Because, darling, this is fantastic. They turn out to be the softest buns. And then there's that wonderful cheesy ground beef burger flavored mixture in there. And the cheese possibilities endless. Some nice Gouda or smoked Gouda would be nice. Provolone, mozzarella even. American cheese slices is usually what I go for. It is the cheapest. I just happen to have an abundance of Swiss right now. And then I also have a few bags of shredded white American cheese. So again, this row, I can keep them distinguished because this far row over here has the one that's going to explode all over. But if it doesn't explode too much, it's still edible. There's still plenty. If it doesn't explode too much, then maybe there'll be plenty of ground beef in the center. And hopefully they don't lose all the cheese. We'll find out. Okay, these beauties are going into the oven now. And we're going to bake for 20 to 25 minutes, depending on your oven. So I'm going to start at 20. And I'll bring you back. Before I decided to make the burger buns, I might have wanted to wait and see how I was feeling today, because I am not feeling well. But that is besides the point. They are in the oven. They are about to come out. Are you ready to see? Ready to see how beautiful. What do you think? What do you think? They're super hot. The one that I said would explode didn't explode as bad as I thought it would. Just a little bit oozing out there. I know that's the bad one because I can see the ground beef stuck to it. So, focus camera. Ta-ta-ta-ta. 18 burger buns. I will type up this recipe's ingredients in the description box. You can follow along, pause as needed. Ooh, looks like one right here. Cheese everywhere. I want to show you the inside. They are super freaking hot. I literally pulled them out of the oven for you just now. And in my recipe, I put wait 10 minutes before enjoying, or you will burn the crap out of your mouth. Not a lie. Because these came out of a 400-degree oven. And I need... No, not that one. That one. We will just... try not to take the parchment paper with us. Okay. Now I'm going to move this to my stovetop. I've had these last in the fridge for about 4 days. Maybe they would last longer. I do not know because we eat them up because they are such great little leftovers, and we're not leftover people. They also freeze really well. If you let them come up to room temp, defrost at room temp, and then warm it up either by wrapping in foil and putting in your air fryer for a couple of minutes, or just pop it in the microwave for a minute. Just beware, it does make the cheese a little molten. So here I have a bread knife. I'm going to try to do this without burning the crap out of myself because, like I said, 400-degree oven, melted cheese, and this is one of the American cheese ones. Hot. Okay, if I had let it cool, it would not be oozing as much. I'm just going to scrape the cheese off my bread knife here because it belongs with this one. And if I'd let it cool, there would not be this big cavity, empty spaceness here. Because, you know, cheese melts down, and then heating up the burger filling makes it thin out a bit, but oh, so good. There we go. A little bit of the bun in there. It smells like heaven. Well, that's not nice. Get back on the fork. I did pull them out of my oven about 3 minutes early because they are perfectly golden brown. I didn't need to bake any longer. I am happy with this, and I know my sweetheart and my little boy Logan are gonna be happy with this too. They love when mommy makes burger buns, so I hope you give it a try. Enjoy. See you next time.